Welcome to Epic Battle Royale action. 20 teams are fighting for $25,000 and glory.
What's up and welcome, friends, to day one of the Free Fire Europe Pro League Season 2.
Let's see the week 1 best moments and check out the standings. Booyah!
They're going to be doing revives again. I'm Darty going to be pushing closer. The circle's coming in. They're all going to be pushed into the walls. C4 surprisingly going to be coming out from the edge and doing a lot of damage, blocking these guys from coming in. Darty going out in third place. C4 coming around the corner, slaying these guys. They could be the surprise winner here, but no. And it is going to be a booyah!
What an unexpected performance by Z4. Let's move forward.
We're going to be seeing Bad Smart stuck behind these two blue walls, mate.
It's really going to be tough for the side of literally everyone, because so far so good for coming from the side of Team for the win, because they have always gotten the circle for them. But Black, there's literally nowhere they can go, so he's going to be the first one down. But take a look at the grenade, and they are not going to give the opponents any time to think. That is probably like a 10,000 damage grenade launcher.
And this is just so... This is a weird game. I've never seen anything like this. This could go the opposite way and somehow everybody go out. There's going to be a booyah!
Wow, that was really unexpected. Still, outstanding performance by Doctonus. Let's see how the standings shifted after the day 1. Everyone's attention was over Vasto Mundo, the champions of Season 1. They played aggressively but lost the first matches and got the 6th place. Autochthonous are in 4th place. Bad Smile got the bronze. Irmandade the 2nd place. And Z4 dominating the day 1 leaderboards. So let's see what day 2 has prepared for us.
Crizzy will try and make his way through, but not going to happen. Down and out, leaving 2 teams remaining at this stage. 4 versus 3, and RX playing inside the blue just to try and stay alive.
Line RX left their rivals with no kill points. But still, what a win by ITZ Esports.
There's a chance for a res to come out, but ITZ are trying to take this fight at the back.
Now pressured against Triple 2 Elite. ITZ still coming forward from the upper ground advantage. Down, ITZ getting petrol. Felipe also falls, and they're going straight towards them. And it looks like ITZ will secure the booyah.
Oh, big booyah! A big booyah, Jay! I'm amazed that ITZ went that far. They were in a 2v4 for God knows how long. They got to the end game, but not quite enough. That had it all. That was so much chaos.
VX engaging against Z4 first and foremost, taking a lot of damage, and they end up going down to the 4 upside, who can secure the kills. Flank around, 1 player out in the open. Got Simones focusing fire towards the outer right positions and going to continue pressing forward. 4 up, also out in the open. Blue walls go up, but they do lose 1 player. Close range positions, jump facing, sprays through, knocks out. Who's at the advantage for? We've only got 1 player.
Damn, that was a hell of a fight. Let's see how the standings look like after day 2. This day was crazy for the day 1 champions Z4. They had a pretty rough start, but managed to get from last in the first game to first in the last game, and now are dominating the leaderboards again. Bad Smile went from 3rd to 2nd place, which was lost to Irmandade, who are now 4th. ITZ Esports now holding the bronze, while Season 1 champions Vasto Mundo drifted from 6th to 11th. So you can only imagine what madness Week 2 is ready to bring upon us. This is what you may have missed during Week 1 of Free Fire Europe Pro League Season 2. Tune in next Saturday at 2 p.m. for more amazing Free Fire action. Booyah!
Hello. Hello Free Fire friends, how's it going, and welcome to week number 2 of the Free Fire Europe Pro League Season 2. And who better to bring you all the Saturday action than Tom and Abstract. They are here in our virtual studio with me. We just got to see a recap of the first week of the league. And Tom, were you surprised so many teams who qualified, had to fight their way through qualifiers, finishing the week at the top of the leaderboard?
I mean, you just have to look at leaderboard and see like Z4 or Z4 and ITZ. Like those are the two shining examples for me of like, if you've got what it takes, you're going to make it to the top. Just absolutely beautiful.
Abstract, week number 1, any standout players for you that caught your eye?
Honestly, right now, the thing that the team that I would just look at is mostly Armandade. If you think about it, week 1 and week 2 is over. Armandade only played for 1 day, and yet they are still in 4th place, while first to third were all Group B. So looking at Armandade today, probably they will be the one that is gonna shot up to 1st place.
Let's take a look at those standings. Just a quick recap of what you saw, and today we get to see groups A, C, and E competing. What are you expecting, Abstract? Do we think Vastamundo is going to pull it back, move a little bit up the rankings?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to believe that Vastamundo is definitely going to get themselves some points up here. We're going to be looking at Group A, C, as well as E. So we won't be looking at any more Group Bs. I'm really hoping and looking for Visora once again, because I've hyped them up a lot for week number 1. And I'm still going to be putting my, my coins on Visora. But I suppose one of the most important players, or rather the most important team that they should look out for, is going to be Armandade, which is just a shy few points away from them.
Okay, so like we mentioned, you're only going to see groups A, C, and E today. So Z4 at the top, they were not going to get a chance to see them. Bad Smile as well. ITZ Esports, they're not playing today. So this is a chance for these other teams to get some points on the board. What I want to show you, though, is the difference right now between Z4 Elite, who's the top spot in the standings, and Vastamundo. Now, remember, Vastamundo in the Premier League last year, coming in 1st place, invited into this competition. But Tom, take a look after week number 1, the difference between these two teams. Are you surprised?
Massively. Vastamundo and Bad Smile were my 2 top teams coming into this, with Vastamundo sort of leading the charge. They've been so confident throughout the last year in all the competitions they've been in. They showed up at the Continental Series. They really showed up massively during the last season of Pro League as well. And to come in and during the first week do so badly, whereas like Z4 coming in and just slam it down and showing who's boss, I'm so surprised. And you know what? I'm happy about it because it shows that there's lots of talent there.
Abstract, Vastamundo was very aggressive in some of their games. Z4 Elite had some bad games. They got kicked out right at the start. They were the first team to go, I think, for 2 games last week Sunday. Vastamundo very aggressive, but just you see they're not being able to get the damage on the board. What do you think they need to change this week to ensure that they can climb up the standings?
Honestly, the game that they're playing at is mostly, high risk, high reward. And so far, their high risk hasn't been, coming to fruition. And I still strongly urge them to continue whatever endeavors that they're trying to go for. Continue going for the aggression, but of course, not reckless aggression. They still gotta have to look out for the teams that they gotta be afraid of. They need to predict the circle as much as possible, and of course, not to pry and force their way into specific places without a prior plan in mind, which showed off really amazingly in Season 1. So I'm hoping to see something like that from Vastamundo again, especially for today's games.
Tom, do you think the 3 groups are breathing a sigh of relief because those top 3 teams aren't playing today? Is that going to give them a little bit of room to get some points?
I think so, yeah. They'll be able to watch, and I hope that all the teams are breathing with a sigh of relief, because it means that they can sit back, analyze all the gameplay, and I really think that's what's happened to Vastamundo as well, is that a lot of these teams will be like, okay, how do Vastamundo play? Let's counteract that. Let's make sure we know their rotations. So this just gives them a sort of a day advantage of like, okay, we breathe, and then we come back tomorrow and next weekend, and we really sort of hammer it home. And I think that's a really scary prospect when you have these three teams who've been so dominant, having this chance to be able to analyze more data.
Tom mentioned coming back, and I hope that all of your friends are coming back to the stream today because, of course, we're doing a giveaway again. You know how it goes. We hit certain milestones and we drop some codes for some sweet, sweet in-game loot. Here's something for you that is going to make this even more fun. If you have friends who speak Portuguese and are watching the Portuguese stream or would like to, maybe you have friends for the Romanian stream, basically we're going to combine all the viewer numbers, and if we hit our targets with those combined viewer numbers, we get to drop those codes. So now you need to phone all your friends, get them to watch. No excuses. If English isn't their first language, they can jump on the other ones. And then I get to drop some codes. And I know you're in the chat and that's what you want. So get in on the action. Back to the serious business though of the Pro League. Let's take a look at your schedule for today. Like it goes, you know how it happens now. We're going to play 4 maps, and those teams are just trying to get those points on the board. We're kicking it off with Bermuda. We'll get to see Purgatory twice, and of course Kalahari's in the mix as well. This one is always interesting for me in a league format because last week all the teams kind of felt each other out. I'm presuming by now, Abstract, they know where their drop spots are. They know where teams that they don't want to engage with early on are going to be dropping. Do you think everyone's sort of comfortable? No one's going to be contesting those spots in this first game?
There should be some kind of contention and of course contest in certain parts of the place, because there are going to be teams where they are still comfortable with where they are dropping at, but yet there should be teams that they are more bloodthirsty, and in some sense they would want to go to high loot zones, which varies every single map. And those are the places, and of course those are the teams that we would want to put a lot more emphasis on. And speaking of that emphasis, I think that Vastumundo may be one of the teams that would want to be that bloodthirsty, especially since a rather disappointing, outcome from week number 1. So coming into week number 2, if I were them, at least, I would continue with my aggression and of course make it even aggressiver than last week.
Tom, do you agree with Abstract?
Nah, I think they should, pull the reins back on the horse. Take a little bit of a chill, let some of those horses go. Don't have so much horsepower. Relax a little bit. Take a bit of a note out of Bad Smile and Z4's book and get circle, get that mid location and go in for the kills at the end of the game, where you can get the Booyah as well, which is obviously the biggest and most important thing of these games.
Well, I mean, you say the Booyah. That's the thing, right? Is last week we saw teams that focused on preparing themselves for the end game, choosing to only get aggressive at the end, and ultimately trying to get the Booyah were the teams that were most successful. And the majority of the teams that got the Booyah also got the most kill points. So arguably, that's the way to go. But talking about going, we're going straight into Bermuda. Tom, Abstract, let's jump into game.
Let's take it away, Abstract. I am ecstatic. I was going to say excited, but I was trying to look for a more exciting word for this map because it is one of our favorite ones here. It's a classic full of players. Are you looking forward to this one? A little bit of action at Clock Tower?
Yeah, absolutely. There are just so many places that I would like to put a lot more emphasis on. And of course, we've seen the most out of Bermuda before. We know how scary Bimasate Strip is. And of course, where Pochinok is. And I'm pretty sure that every single one of the viewers understands what kind of a hard zone Pochinok is. But one of the main things that I would want to look at is Viceroar, Ermadade, as well as Vastumundo coming into a Bermuda Triangle, fighting one another out. But of course, we shouldn't just focus and tunnel vision on all of them, because I really want to see some unique booyahs from each and every one of the teams here.
For sure, I think unique plays and sort of going for their own style is really important. And I mean, we have got something else unique in here. I mean, we've got a slightly different team in here. I'll let see if people can sort of recognize it. But oh, actually, they're not in this one. Sorry, but oh yeah, they are. VA Vault instead of INV. I just want to bring that up quickly before we go into this. And I also want to ask you a quick question on the current placement of Vastumundo, because I think they might be going for your strategy of going hard and fast, because they're in the midst of 3 different teams right now.
Indeed. So that could be quite a number of possibilities regarding how they want to play it. But usually we would want to see them, or rather, for Vastamundo, they would probably and usually hit their way into Catalystua from Graveyard, and that is going to put themselves a lot closer into the middle of the zone. And especially since they jumped in between of Bullseye as well as Observatory, they should know very well that there are two separate teams in the respective areas. And thus, if they got shot upon, if there are going to be too much aggression or perhaps even too much sounds that is heading over to their way, there could be a higher possibility that they will just bail out of the area just so that they don't get crunched because just being pincered in between. And that would be the last thing you want happen to you, especially as an aggressive team.
Especially so early on in the match as well, because you really want to be able to get your weapons. You want to be able to warm up those horses so you can charge forward and get those kills. And if you're a team like Rustamundo, you want to make sure you have all those guns before you dive into these fights. Although we have seen them in multiple other games where they will take those sort of early contentions and just fight with anything they can pick up. We saw it last week, and I think the first game with Amadadi, obviously one of the teams that only played in the first day and still ended up in the top 10 or top 5 rather. That they were just playing aggressive towards clock towers. I'm interested to see if we see any sort of more plays like this. Again, still going to be a bit of a chill start to this. We had a fairly good playing path, if you'd agree, that allowed them to spread out fairly nicely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it does seem like it makes absolute sense for Vastamundo to actually get himself out of Graveyard and putting themselves in a nicely settled area. And that is mostly due to the fact that there were just way too much sounds going on about. They just jumped to the southern side of Catalystua, slightly further away than in between of Bullseye and Observatory. And like you said before, it's not a good place, especially since someone has shot one of the Vastamundo's members. The longer they stay there, the easier it is for the opponents to spot them out and perhaps even coming in with a pincer attack, completely unoblivious to them. So it's understandable with the way that they play this, and from this point onwards, probably heading their way down to Catalystua or perhaps even to Bimasati Strip. And from that point onwards, we will start to see them playing a little bit more of the gatekeeping strategies, which we see them doing pretty darn often. And if you just see on the screen right now, we're pretty close to Clock Tower, and also with Vastamundo coming in pretty darn close to Viceroar.
Oh, and it's going to be Blazer going to be stuck out in the open, but it's not going to be him who's going to be first knocked. It's going to be Lopez. Lucca going to be followed up as well. Oh, Viceroar doing a massive amount of damage. Grenade over towards players as well, but the rifle's going to be doing a bit of damage. Not fortunately for him, he's going to survive, but there goes going to be pushing around the corner. The blue wall's going to be coming up hard and fast for this player. But Blazer, one of the top players we've seen throughout all these tournaments, is going to be going in a 1 versus 2. He falls. One across the Mundo member left alive right now, and he's going to be running for the hills. He wants nothing to do with this. And wow, first blood wasn't even Viceroar, it was someone else on the other side of the map. It was For the Win who actually stole one of those kills, I think. And it's now going to be Nunes, the last Mundo member left alive.
Not the best thing to see, and especially for Vastamundo. They are just caught in the heat of action, and of course they bumped onto the wrong team, and in this case it's going to be Viceroar, with a member from For the Win actually stealing one of that away. So, you can pretty much see this. Viceroar, they had a good shot. They had a good idea where Vastamundo is and caught them completely off guard while they are still in rotation, which is definitely not something that Vastamundo was looking for, and of course not something that they were expecting. And thus, dropping them to a one-man strength in game number 1 is definitely really, really tough for the team. And I'm just not looking forward to see how they're going to be playing this game. They should want to look forward to game number 2 while they just aim for placements for this one.
They start off today with 37 points, and they're already down to 1 player on Bermuda the first game. I hope this isn't the pace they're setting to finish today off with. We are obviously just in the first game, so like I said, I hope they're going to be pushing forward and doing a lot better than this. So, if anything, I don't think either one of our points were proven here about them going slower and faster. I think they were just caught in the wrong place at a bad time by Viceroar. Either way, I like this circle. It's going to be including, obviously, the sort of high loot zone, as well as one of my favorite areas, Clock Tower, being in the sort of close center. What do you make of this circle for people having to enter in from the edge? Because we still have about 4 teams outside the circle right now.
we're still going to be expecting a couple of teams that might make their way over to Pochinok, because we know for a matter of fact that Pochinok is one of the central areas and one of the best places to play gatekeeping. So for Team 77, they are already inside of Pochinok, and they will stay there until the circle eventually shrinks in smaller and smaller, which I don't think that they're going to find much, because there was only one team that is pretty close to the side of Kotatua, or perhaps even closer to Peak. So no one's going to come into the vicinity of Pochinok, and of course, no one's going to be coming into the crosshairs of Team 77. They will be there, stuck there, doing some gatekeeping strategies with no one to kill whatsoever, and that is going to put them in a fairly bad seat, because they are at the edge of the circle, while most of these teams are actually within the inner areas of the current circle. It really depends on how the next circle is going to be like, but I am just predicting that the next circle is definitely going to be on the central part.
You really hope so, but we're going to be seeing some firefights here. Vaisara, they have no chill. They look at the flush out a member of Madadi who was knocked, and Franco is on the other side of the airplane path here for airplane strip, trying to push up hard against Madadi, and he might well be able to do a good job here with them. He's got a couple of nades, but he might well be facing down the barrel of a gun very soon. He's trying to break down this blue wall. He does, but it's going to be rebuilt almost instantaneously, allowing Madadi to be able to run away very quickly. Trying to recover here. They're going to be down to 3 men, and Vaser are one of the teams that you highlighted, Abstract, as being a potential team. And they've come in today. They've wiped out almost the whole of one of the top teams from last year, and now they're looking to do the same with one of the top teams on the leaderboard right now.
Yep. With Amadadi currently nesting themselves in 4th place, we've got Viceroy that they are pretty much in a gunfight, a firefight between themselves and Amadadi, but it doesn't seem like they are very capable of taking this action, because of the fact that Diog is actually knocked down in the middle of the fields with no one to help them whatsoever, and Viceroy would have no choice but to get themselves out of there before they lose even more members. And it is, at this point of time, it's really more about Viceroy. They just do not want to engage. They do not want to commit into the fight against Amadade, which eventually led them in a horrible spot, in my opinion.
I think they were having a difficulty to be able to break into that side of the airstrip, because they were trying to get it from a few different angles, and Amadadi are actually all 4 members up. I didn't realize they were able to save one of the members who was down. I think it was Mo's earlier on, but I think, yeah, it was Ichiban, I think, or Duplo, who went over towards the edge of the lake there, or the water, and he was able to take sort of a flanking shot on Vaisara. Rich really just like cut them off. That sniper shot and taking down Diag was just a perfect play. Now Vaisara have kind of been, like a bad dog, being smacked on the nose and be like, calm down. We are Amadadi. We know what we're doing. We were one of the best teams from last week. So how about you know your place and don't treat us like trash?
And it does seem like they are gonna get, severely, not say severely, but moderately punished with one of their members going down. But it's definitely not a driving force to push Viceroy away from this game, of course, and is not going to, push their motivation away. But besides from that fact, let us take a look at the circle, and my prediction is right. The circle seems to appear right smack center of the current circle, and that pretty much means that Bimasati Strip, Catalystua, and Clock Tower is going to be one of the best places to be at in terms of landmarks. But the best place you can be at is slightly towards the southern area of Catalystua, where there are massive ridges as well as bridge. But in the meantime, Amadade may find themselves in quite a sticky situation.
Amadadi rotated straight into the circle, unfortunately right into the trap and the web of G3, one of the better teams on the server as well, and they're looking to pick up a better performance, because they were at 19th position at the end of last week, and I have seen better performance from them before, and hopefully they're going to be able to do it again. But they are now in a bad position, being in that tower, but they have knocked down one of the players of Amadadi, finished off another, but Zed has been sniped, his head has been found, and now it's going to be Amadadi trying to recover one of their players, so they're not down too many players at the end here. G3 still in a decent position to be able to recover from this. They're in a 2-2 split, trying to fight off Amadadi, who are in a 2-1 split. One at the garage here, two rather over at the rocks / billboard. We're going to switch on over, though, to the ex-INV players. They're now on a new team, and it's going to be Vastamundo's last player, Nunez, who's going to be able to take out one of the players on on their team VA side. They're going to be running away straight into the hands of Vesa but back on over towards Amadadi at G3, and it's going to be Amadadi's Dupla going in for a double kill. Can he quite make it? He's going to be low HP, but his teammate's going to be backing him up, doing the damage. They're going to be knocking them down. And now, oh no, there's still Zed. He's still alive. Do they realize he's still there? They must do, surely. I mean, they're trying to break down this wall, but he's right there. He's going to be able to potentially get the knock. He does on one of the Amadadi players, and Zed trying to fight down. He's going to be able to knock down another Amadadi player. It's now going to be a 1 versus... Oh no, G3 player has come up behind him as well, but it's going to be a flush. Amadadi taking down Zed, and I'm not quite sure who's going to be able to finish off best here, as there's still a 2-2 situation between the Amadadi and G3 lads. Oh no! Echaban's going to be going down. Havel's going to be jumping up. Potentially going to be able to finish this off. G3 looking fairly good, but Simo's with the sniper close. It's going to work. Oh, no, going out in 12th.
Shut down.
Now that is quite an encounter coming from the side of G3, but for now, it does seem like we have a little bit of a counter coming from the side of Bastimundo with the grenade popping right in the face of Nunes, but for some reason it is actually not caught at all, because the grenade's just not... okay, I was about to say that they are just not lobbing over to the right area, because he's just right in the center of that watchtower, and that final nade is the one that finally put the final nail into the coffin for Bastimundo, and thus Bastimundo is going to be the team to be eliminated at number 11. But for now, let's talk a little bit more about the previous encounter between G3, right? Because G3 they split into a 2-2. In your opinion, do you think that that was actually a really a wise choice?
Yeah, I mean, when you're based in those towers, you can't be focused in one spot. Like right here, you see one player go down. If all 4 of you were in that tower, it's an easy grenade fest. Especially when Smoes is just picking up another knock there again. And so it allowed them to collapse in towards the remaining Amadadi players. So I think it was a good play.
Indeed. So one thing about hanging around in a watchtower, on the watchtower, understandably, because if all 4 of you are there, you're just gonna be thrown and barraged by grenades, and that was a huge no-no, and it's just gonna make things a little bit tough. Like for example, Cheater that is gonna be in on the watchtower as well. He's soloing this specific watchtower with no one around him to kind of fend off the opponents. As for the side of G3, they are on a 2-2 split. They are on a crossfire. If there is going to be any teams that try to use grenade launches or even use grenades to try to lob onto the watchtower, the other two pairs and the other part of the watchtower can very likely bring those people down, because they are all the way out in the open with no ceiling, no walls to cover them with. The only thing that they have is very likely glue walls, which in that case, Amadadi, they wouldn't have. And despite for the fact they didn't realize that Amadadi would just rush right up onto the watchtower, which they did, and they lost 2, right? G3 lost 2, but I don't think that is that big of a deal, because it is in the end a 2-for-4 trade.
Gonna be seeing a bit of chaos coming in here. 7-7 gonna be trying to push inside, and X4 looking to try and keep them out. But they're gonna have a bit of a difficult time of being able to accomplish this. But Huzi is gonna be on the right side of the bridge here, gonna be trying to take them down as they push in, but he might get caught off guard here. Glue wall's going to be coming out left, right, and center, and they're going to be very low on these at the end of the game. 4 up might come in and join in on this fight as well, who are above them. Now grenades are going to be launched, knocking one of the players. Sanchez is going to go down, and Black's going to be pushing up. They've captured 2 of the players. They're going to knock them down, and now he's pushing into blue. He doesn't care. They've got no chill at all, but X4 is looking to take down 1, maybe even 2 if he can do it. Huzi doing his best to try and recover. His team is going to be knocking 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 in a second. He doesn't quite do it. X4 going out. 7-7 just survived with 2 remaining players.
And right on the other side of the map, in the northeastern side of the map, we've got 222 Elite, and they're just going to go ham with their grenade launchers. Doing pretty darn well though, but Darkness, they are still stuck and cropped up in this watchtower with nowhere to run. While 222 Elite, that is in. They do have a couple of grenade launchers in their equipment, in their utility belts as well, and that is going to be the final nail in the coffin once again. Onto a Darkness. There's just way too many teams playing on the watchtowers, and whoever that grenade launches or even grenades is going to put a really fast and easy end to those teams.
Vesa are just, they're horrible. Like they just keep on. They may not have loads of kills. They only have 5 kills, but they are slapping at people and like sniping at people from a distance and really knocking them down on health. And they just knocked out another team. So that's technically, I think, 2 teams as well that they have now knocked out. as well as pushing Vastamodo down to one player who eventually went out as well. But I just want to say, those teams who are playing in Watchtower too much, like we just saw with that last team, they're now going to be watching the game. So, you know, it's only appropriate they ended up dying in the Watchtower. Either way, 7-7, mate. One member left remaining underneath those players. Vaysar, who do you think is going to be able to take this? We've still got a few tough teams here.
Yeah, we still have a lot, and with 5 teams in the map, I'm just looking forward to teams that have a full strength, and I'm not too sure about that because Vaysar, 3-man, we've got 57A, 3-man, knock that down to 2-man, and there could be more casualties coming on this way, Tom. It does seem like things are starting to be really bad for 57A.
I just want to say, like, Vaysar are just playing with absolute confidence here, and they're going to be pushing in Crusher, getting the jump shot on Solo there. What a fantastic play, and they're going to be wiping out a potential team. Oh, maybe not. Yep, 57-0 going to be going out with the help of G3 from the distance, and now G3 going to be trying to take down one of the players on the edge here. Can't quite see their name. It's going to be 4 up. Actually, the grenade's going to be going out. A lot of damage on them as well. The circle's going to be pushing against them. They're going to have a limited amount of time here. Martin's going to be outside the circle. We're going to have to try and push in, and this is going to be perfect for G3 right now. We're going to be going into the final circle, and Martin's going to go down to the play zone, sacrificing himself. Rather than giving points to G3, he decided to die out, so that's point denial right there. Very smart play. Chef and Crusher trying to chalk up the nades up here, doing a decent amount of damage, not getting any knocks quite yet. Crusher trying to get up there as well.
Trying to do as much damage as possible, but it just seems like the frag grenades are not landing at all, because the only thing that they can rely on is tossing grenades over and over again and just hailing, just putting down the hail with explosives, and things are definitely going to look pretty darn bad for the ground level guys, and that is going to be team 4 up. With only 2 members left, completely stormed in by Vaysar, but for now it is going to be 2 versus 2, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal for the side of 4 up. But for now, 2 of the members is now going to be eliminated by the side of Vaysar with G3 2v2, and just like that, things are going to put themselves right into the end, and booyah! That is going to be 1 game down for Vaysar, and they're just, honestly, I just don't see that coming at all. They are just walloping their way for G3 and just destroying everyone as much as possible.
What an amazing game. It's such a pleasure to be able to watch that, guys. I mean, Vaysar, they were just playing with such confidence and tenacity, just pushing against anything and everything and knowing when to pull back as well. So if they keep that up, they could easily be taking over that first spot by the end of the day.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to see things doing pretty darn good for them. And I mean, I've been putting so much emphasis on them since week 1, and game number 1 just seems too good for them.
Well, you know what? Might be too good for them, but what isn't too good for the viewers is a nice, lovely giveaway. So we have hit one of the targets recently. So you know what? Let's give away. You know, right there. There's a Megalodon Alpha token box X1. So you know, you want to get one? Go enter in that code. I'm not going to read it out loud, but I'm sure people in the chat will help you get it if you have missed it. Make sure you chance to bring in your friends across any of the different languages: Romanian, English, or even Turkish, if I remember correctly, as well, and Portuguese. So make sure to bring them over and invite them in to watch. And let's take a quick break as well.
But before that, if you guys are wondering how to redeem those codes, make sure you guys head down to reward.ff.garena.com. Once again, www.reward.ff.garena.com to redeem those gifts. And of course, more gifts to come. But before we even give out even more, we're just going to go in for a really short break. And once we're back, I'm pretty sure that we'll be giving you guys game number 2 almost instantaneously. So we'll see you guys.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, let's go into the second matchup here, and it's going to be on one of my favorite maps. How are you feeling, Abstract?
Purgatory is pretty much the map that everyone have a little bit of issues of because of the vast amount of, waters all around. It's not that vast, but for the matter of fact, there are bridges that are just going to be, connecting the western island, the southern island from the main archipelago. So I'm looking forward to see how these players are going to be rotating about. And as per normal, I would always say that Central Fire Brigade, Lumber Mill is very likely going to be the best place to land, best place to run, and of course, best place to kind of rotate around. And it's going to secure them with good loots, but that also means that they may come in with some bad traffic.
We love that bad traffic though. Whenever there's confrontation on the edge, like last game we saw X4 and 7-7 fight it out under the bridge, and unfortunately one of the teams didn't make it out, and even though 7-7 did, they only walked away with 2 players barely hopping along. So any of these fights along the edges, I love it. Rotational fights are just great to watch from any of these teams, so I think the Purgatory is going to be an absolute pleasure. And obviously there's 2 of these going on as well, so but you know what, we have 2 maps and we have multiple giveaways, and you know what, that's what I hear, another giveaway right now. Abstract, I think it's right there. Chrono box.
Oh,
I summon thee,
ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I summon the Chrono Box, and of course you guys know exactly what to do. The rewards are given away in a milestone basis, and thus you guys should guys should call all your friends to watch the stream as much as possible. We've got an English stream, we've got a Portuguese stream as well. So if you have friends, they gotta have to watch in, and of course clock in for that milestone reward. And then every now and then we will release codes for the for such giveaways, which can be redeemed at www.reward.ff.garena.com.
What a beautiful giveaway sound from Abstract, the man. Right, let's move on into this. So we got a beautiful playing line here. I'm going to let you break that down in a moment, but I just want to say, Purgatory, this is going to be a busy one, and Moat House is quite far away. What do you make of this playing line, mate?
The playing line is going to be starting off in from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and it's just going to be cutting through the entirety of this map. Purgatory, free real estate all over the map, and every single one of these teams can very definitely get themselves to a place for themselves. But it does seem like these teams are saying absolutely no, we're just going to go somewhere with high population and high traffic, Tom. It does seem like things are going pretty darn bad for G3.
Now, Vastamundo going to be taking full revenge from last game and making sure they get a bunch of kills, 3 down already. Now they're going to be hunting down Zed, the final player who's running towards the water, trying to survive, but the shot's coming from behind. First blood, first wipe, all within the first 10 seconds. That's what we like to see. Fantastic play from Vastamundo. Oh, that's the hype. I was going to call it out when we saw the drops coming in. These players were just playing far too close, but oh no. I sense some bad things happening very soon because Zarya rather have already begun looting up, and they're going to be charging for Vastamundo because they want to make sure they stomp out that fire.
Indeed. They were a little bit too loud, so Viceroy, they should understand that, Vastamundo is just right around Central, and we should definitely make a move to just wipe them off of the surface of this map as soon as possible, and very likely they might. And of course, if you take a look at the right side of the screen, you can pretty much see that G3 was ranked at number 2. They were in ranked 2nd for the previous rankings, and now they just dropped at rank number 12, which unfortunately is the worst thing to happen to you, especially if you didn't even get a single kill to bring down with you to the grave. So G3, they're gonna have to come back a lot stronger in match number 11 and perhaps even in match number 12. But for now, eyes open for Vastamundo because they were all the way down last for match 9, and now they have already gotten themselves with 4 kills to their name.
4 kills. Obviously, 4 kills is great, but you really want that booyah, and like Zaria just brought home the bacon in the last game and just did a fantastic performance, and I really think they're going to be bringing it forward into this one as well, but hopefully I'm maybe proven wrong. We see like Vastamundo and a couple of the other teams come through as well, but I mean, G3 going out in 12th after going 2nd last game is a massive shame. It's very painful to watch. I mean, we saw it on the first week as well, and actually a very similar place. And I think from G3, I'll have to go back and check my notes, but one of the teams dropped down and on the zip line and ended up getting slaughtered by a team that had landed first. But either way, let's have a look at this. So 222 Elite, mate, they know that VA are in Ski Lodge here.
Do they? I mean, for sure, Alpha is on a lookout right behind this rock, this giant boulder, and it does seem like he is prepared for someone to come out of Ski Lodge. And the rest of the team coming in from 222 Elite, they are also making their way here now, and it's gonna be relatively tough for VA if they would just be shot at their back without them even, expecting anyone in the outside. Well, expecting them.
It's just a matter of time right now. The circle's gone down, so there's no real reason for VA to jump out of here, but they're playing a little bit cautious. But as soon as they step out the doors, I think they may be firing, having some firefighting here. First one's gone out, but are they going to be firing too soon, or are they going to wait a couple of moments? They want the whole 4 team. They don't want just one man. They want to go home with the full ready meal for their family. And here we go. They've stepped outside. 222 Elite. This is their time to shine. They're waiting for them to get out a little bit further, and now... well, they're now in cover, so maybe they're waiting for them to line up with their other players as well. They haven't taken any shots. They've lost the high ground as well. Afonso playing a little bit silly here, but they now have a decent angle on them. Still no shots have been taken, and there we go. They're going to be far enough away, and the shots are going to be raining in. But I think it was a little bit too late. I think they were far too slow on pulling the trigger on this one, and they've lost their chance, and they may end up losing the fight here if they're not careful. But these guys are in a fairly precarious situation.
There is a very small time window for 222 Elite to actually fire back at VA for the perfect initiation. But it does seem like things are not that good for them because yes, indeed, they were a little bit too far, and at least for the Lions, they were a little bit too far now. And the big thing for 222 Elite is that they're just looking for Vote Alliance to have 0 cover, and that is the point of time when they climb up the ridge.
Look at this though. It's going to be Afonso from above. He's in such a perfect position to be able to take out these players from above, but he is wondering where the two others ones are, but he's going to be able to shoot from above. But as soon as he shoots, he's going to be giving away his position. Afonso getting above Cooch here. PLH as well. He's trying to get that position there above them. He's not taking shots. He wants to make sure he's able to play spoiler here. And now he's going to be raining down fire, knocking down one. Looking to shoot down the other one as well. And that's going to be two members of VA knocked out straight away. And last two members of their team are going to be probably running for the hills. Boltex and Panadia.
Indeed. There is no way that Vote Alliance were trying to do anything else other than running away, because it just doesn't make sense at all. In the meantime, we're going to be taking a look at the Southern Bridge, and it does seem like it is going to be a fight between X4 as well as Viceroar, with Franco and Georg, trying to get themselves away as fast as possible, which are not looking pretty darn good, because looking at the minimap, it does seem like there's only 3 members from Viceroar that is available, while Blazermon is just blazing through his entire magazine and just putting all the lead down onto the members of, or rather, a single member of Viceroar, and that is going to put 6 kills to the names of Vastamundo, and this is the kind of Vastamundo that we were looking at for Season 1, and they may very well be hitting back right now at this very instance.
It's going to be a nice revenge set of kills, but X4 going to be at a distance trying to take some shots as well. Franco going to be pushing up quite close to Blazer, but he's going to be down to 12 HP. He's going to have to drop some meds here if he wants to survive. He's going to get knocked down. That's going to be the second to last member knocked out and fragged out. Crusher going to be the last member standing from heroes to zeros right now. Potentially going to go out in 11th place if they're not careful. Amadadi going to be crossing another bridge, but they're going to be getting shot at by 7-7, who unfortunately are going to be trapped under a bridge. They won the fight near a bridge last time, but it seems like they're going to be potentially fighting against the wrong team here. Inca is going to be eliminated. Not quite sure how he managed that. Maybe even killed himself by accident. Amadadi trying to back off here. They don't want to go too far under that bridge. They're going to go up above it now. It's a 3 versus 4 situation. Amadadi's favor here. But they're going to chill. They've managed to sort of realize that one of the players for 7-7 has gone down, but they don't want to dedicate themselves too much on this. Meanwhile, 4up going to be going up on 222 Elite right now. Pedro's going to be getting knocked. His teammate's already dead. No one is here to save him. Oh, Afonso, never mind. He is there. Is he going to be able to creep on forward and try to get this res? I'm not quite sure. 4up, but in this watchtower. Really hope someone sneaks up and drops a nade in there, because it would be fairly amusing. Afonso managed to pick up Pedro, one of the main players. I think he's the IGL, actually, if I remember correctly, for 222 Elite. They've been together for quite a while now as an actual team. They haven't really performed massively. They came ninth at the end of last week. Let's see if they're going to be able to turn anything around this time around. Pedro, though, difficult spot, mate. How's he going to get out of this abstract?
It's going to be tough, but one of the only things that he can pretty much do is just follow through and understand where their opponent is. And if he knows where the watchtower is, he can pretty much keep running further and further away while, kind of following the silhouette of this giant, massive tree. Because the further you go, the better it is. And you don't have to waste any of your time turner or perhaps even your glue walls, because the further you go, the harder it is for your opponents to hit you. And by the time where you're no longer being covered by the tree anymore, the opponents can't hit you anymore. So there shouldn't be any problems for Pablo to get himself away as fast as possible. So it should be a-okay for them. But the only problem that I see now is going to be, well, quite a bit of teams because of how the circle is. Based on where the next circle is going to be. And that is my issue, you see. There is going to be a massive amount of traffic coming in from the northern side and possibly towards the eastern side a little bit, right outside of Brasilia. So the current location of where Team For the Win Esports is, that is going to be a tough place to be because it is a good spot. But 4up is around the area. We got 57A that would want to head their way there. And Vastamundo would maybe head their way to Brasilia, which is going to have a pretty good eye on the rest of the team over there. This is a pretty exposed circle. There is a lot of places that you can go. There is a lot of wrongs that you can do, yet there is also a couple of rights that you can do. It really depends on how these players intends to play. And of course, maybe a little bit of mind game would help.
Mind games is going to be such an important thing here, but apparently so are Watchtowers. I mean, Panidia is going to be one of the last 2 players remaining on his team, and they're going to have to try and get in here. I think there's a few teams here we have to keep an eye on, and I think one of these 3 teams are going to win. I think it's going to be For the Win, Vostamundo, or Amadadi. I'm placing my bets now on one of these teams taking the win here. Vostamundo and Amadadi have come into this game with a sort of a bloodlust and a fairly good sort of, well, like gameplay so far. Maybe even X4, but I think Vostamundo, For the Win, or Amadadi, I think are the teams I'm going to call out for this one.
I'm just going to put my vote onto Vastamundo solely from the fact that they're kind of on a roll, and the last time that we saw Vastamundo on a roll like this, they were unstoppable. If for game number 1, game number 2, for season 1, like literally unstoppable. They're getting kills all the way from the start of the game, the mid of the game, and even at the end of the game. As long as they get themselves inside of the circle, they're pretty much a-okay. And they get to do some massive, painful gatekeeping, which is going to be one of Vastamundo's forte. As long as they keep themselves in the circle, they're all good. And they are also definitely going to get themselves more kills.
More kills, more points, but most importantly, booyah potential at the end of it. Like we've booyah. I really love how we've been like trying to empathize and like, tell the story behind that booyah out the end there, screaming as loud as we can. Interesting to see how I do this time round. VA, I don't think they're going to be able to get the booyah here, but if they manage to get a sneaky one, fair play to them. Maybe I'll get them some diamonds or something as a congratulations, because winning as a 2-man in the position they're in, it's just going to be so doubtful. If they win this, I'll buy them like 1,000 diamonds or whatever it is. I don't know how much I just committed to, but there you go. But 7-7. We'll see what trouble I got by yourself into, but if they win, like fair play to them. They're currently out in the blue, like in electric. They're gonna sustain quite a bit of damage here, and when they come in, they're gonna be entering into one of 2 teams, 7-7 or Auto, or the Coronas. That's not one of the teams I'd want to face.
Yeah, especially since the fact that this circle is gonna hurt. Like, we are looking at the next circle, which is number 4, and this circle onwards, it is really gonna hurt. So pretty for sure, Vote Alliance will want to get themselves into Brasilia as fast as possible, and kind of lucky for them that no one is at the area of Brasilia in the northwestern side. So good for them. But the next part of the play is going to be the difficult one, because the closer that they get themselves to the newest circle at the northwestern side, that is where everyone is, and that is where the choke zone is. We've got Visorar in there. We've got Autochthonous that is in there as well. And we are also expecting 57A to head their way to that very specific spot, because that is the closest displacement they can get from their from point A to point B. Expect to see a 4-team clash at where Autochthonous is.
Crusher is just trembling behind this chair right now, like, please don't find me. Don't throw a nade up here. I am not actually here. You don't want to come up here. And there's a straight away a nade, and Crusher's realized his hiding place has been found. They're going to be pushing straight up against him. Lots of bullets. His blue wall didn't really do him much of a favor there. He's going to be down to 30 HP and to 0. Out in 11th from 1st to 11th. At least they both have 1 in them. And there's going to be just a ton of chaos erupting across the map, as you predicted. 4 up, they're going to be going out in 10th. Next team should be following up soon, but 222 Elite going to be tagging on and trying to take down Bustamundo here, but Afonso is going to get dropped by Lopez, and Bustamundo might turn their sights against this team, who are now going to be 2 players up and standing. Instead of trying to res their player, never mind, Refuse is going to be going over there, trying to res him, but he's going to sustain a lot of damage himself. He is going to be able to heal up, but 0 kills on the counter for him. Pedro trying to do a lot of work here with this XM, trying to now back up against these guys, because they realize the circle is going to be pushing them in, and Blazer is going to be down. One of the top players is going to be finished by 57. You predicted them pushing in, and they've done a great job taking out one of the top players, I think, in just free firing in total. Meanwhile, Bustamundo still going to have to keep on dealing with 57, who have no chill here, chucking in the grenades, trying to get some extra damage here. Going to be working fairly nicely, but Solo is going to be caught out on his own if he's not careful. He's trying to run across. He's going to be facing a lot of damage. Puts up a blue wall as well, so he's going to be running low on this. Arda, he has a shotgun, pops around the corner, misses his chance to take this shot, pops up. A phase, and now another one of the players from Bustamundo coming in. They're going to be able to knock him down. Don't quite finish him. 2-2 Elite going to be coming around the circle as well, going in for the rotation behind 57. Nunes finishing off a pause. 57 just not looking too healthy here, but Bustamundo might find themselves too trapped to be around these glue walls, and it's going to be Solo getting shot on by Refuse, who's coming in from behind. They need to get a couple of these grenades in. Nunes going to get finished off by one of the players on 57. Lucka going to be trying to do his damage here with the shotgun. He takes a lot of shots, but it's not quite landing as much as he would have wanted to. And now 2-2 Elite are fully into the mix here. But Bustamundo, Lucka, he's going massive. He takes down 1, takes down 2. Can he take down 3? No, he's going to get knocked to the side. It's going to be Pedro trying to do his job. But Bustamundo, I think, went out, if I'm right in saying, in 8. Nope, that was actually VA. VM is still alive. Lopez standing still and alive, trying to push in, get a couple of these finishes against these players, but it's going to be very hard. He sees one of the players on the edge here. He needs to finish this player off before he comes in. He does. Double Vector here on the edge of the circle by himself. 10 kills on their side, 4 by himself. There's so much time here.
I'm relatively surprised that Lopez is still alive at this moment of time. But for Arda and Solo, they're all stuck inside of that hut. That is not good at all. But Lopez at the other side of this tent, while Lizin is going to be taken down by one of the members coming in from 57-8. Not what I was expecting, but as a matter of fact, with only 5 teams left in this current circle, things are definitely going to be tough for Vastamundo to even to win. But looking at things, with 5 teams alive, 8 members alive, that means that most, if not all, of the teams that's alive right now are heavily handicapped. We've got Vastamundo with 1, we've got 57-8 with 2, 7-7 with 1. Vastamundo is just going to be eliminated like that because there is absolutely nowhere they can go. He can't even wait for a matter of time for 57-8 to get him out of there because there is just no covers for him whatsoever. And ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at 4 teams left. 7 members remaining, with Team 77 opening fire right now with the grenade launcher flying over his head, and 77 is now eliminated. John, things are starting to get scary, or perhaps not. Wait, what? Wait, Ermandada with a booyah? Where did it come from?
They were sitting up on top of the mountain in the circle, being very happy to be able to take pot shots at these guys from above and not really worrying too much about it. So I think just fair play to them.
That was a fun little sneaky play from them, wasn't that? I mean, we didn't even see it happen, but Ermandade takes the booyah, so congratulations to them. They did that nice quick fast. I like to call that the quick fast move. Just waiting at the top, like Tom said. Okay. I mean, we can get into that game, but what I want to do is talking about game 1 and game 2. What a change of pace from all the teams in comparison to last week. We had contentions for drop spots. We had those middle ground fights, just teams running at each other, and lots of end game fights for those final spots. Lots of battles, lots of aggression. Tom, why do you think that is?
We've had quite a few games now come out from last week. We obviously saw 8 games in total, so there's a lot of information there as to how and where these teams play. So a team like Vesera went out and like, okay, we've done our information, let's go hunting. And they played really aggressively and really well, and I think they just did their homework.
Were you impressed, Abstract, with the Portuguese teams? Because I think that they've definitely popped off this week. We keep seeing them up there. I mean, map number 2, a few of them dropped off, but you've been calling that we need to watch the Portuguese teams, and they definitely delivered.
Indeed. I mean, Vastamundo, they had a great start of the game. In the midst of the game, it was pretty good as well, but they did, yes, suffered a little bit of a casualty. But once again, high risk, high reward. They ended game number 2 with a total of 10 kills to their name. We've heard of that before, but coming from the side of Vastamundo is definitely going to be one of their average norms when it comes to Season 1. So when it comes to Season 2, for now, it's still kind of a surprise, maybe to some of the viewers out there, but we shouldn't be looking down on Vastamundo, because as time slowly goes by, as they slowly get themselves warmed up, Vastamundo is definitely going to kick some ass.
So I know that this is always a difficult question to ask an analyst because you answer the team comms, you maybe don't know what the teams are thinking. But I'm curious, when we landed here in Purgatory, there was so much aggression right at the start. I mean, you saw all those teams land in the same spot, start fighting. The mid game was very aggressive, everyone fighting for territory. The end game, I mean, it happened so quick, we didn't even see it. Why are we suddenly seeing so much aggression from these teams right off the bat? Do you think that this is just a matter now of wanting to control certain spaces? I mean, what is it that you think, Abstract, is causing this?
one of the main reasons is going to be the flight path. Yes, we are talking about flight path that started from 9 to 6, is slightly is pretty much central, but